Okay everyone, today we're going to have a look at a few more Pythagoras Theorem examples. Remember from the previous video, in a right angled triangle with legs A and B and hypotenuse C, Pythagoras' theorem says that the length of A squared plus the length of B squared equals the length of C squared. So let's find the length of the unknown x in this example. Here, in order to use Pythagoras, we need to identify that it's a right angled triangle first, and that's indicated by the little square in the bottom left-hand corner of that triangle. That tells us it's a right angled triangle, and therefore we can use Pythagoras. So we rewrite our formula for Pythagoras, which is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now, using the values that we're given, we can substitute them into the formula, and we get 2.2 squared plus x squared equals 2.8 squared. Now C always represents the hypotenuse, and that's the angle, that's the length of the side opposite the right angle in this triangle, which is 2.8 meters. So we can square those, and we get 4.84 plus x squared equals 7.84. Now we take away 4.84 each side, and we get x squared equals 3, and we square root both sides, and we get x equals root 3 meters. Now we're going to leave that in surd form today, and you're more than welcome to do that for these types of problems. So here we have another example. The triangle's a bit on its side, but it doesn't make it any less of a right angled triangle. We can tell that by the little square indicating the right angle in the bottom corner. Now again, the hypotenuse is the side opposite the right angle. So let's find the length of x. This time, two of the sides are given in surd form. Now this shouldn't scare us. It's actually quite easy to work out still when they're in surd form. So we rewrite our formula, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And we replace our letters with our numbers. In this case, we put brackets around our root 7 and our root 15, and those because the whole root 7 and root 15 get squared. Now, there's nothing to be scared of, because essentially a square root and a square are opposite things, so they just cancel out, and we just get 7 plus x squared equals 15 squared. Now we can just take away 7 both sides, we get x squared equals 8, and then we just get the square root of 8. So we have x equals the square root of 8 millimeters. Again, we'll leave it in surd form. Now we have fractions for our sides. Those of you who are scared of fractions, there's no need to be. I'll show you. If you just break it down and work through each step individually, you'll be able to work out through to get the answer. So we rewrite our formula. Because it's a right angled triangle, we can use Pythagoras. Now we've got to make sure that we square the entire half. So we replace a here with a half. We put brackets around it to indicate the whole thing needs to be squared. And then we've got our other side, x squared equals our hypotenuse squared, which is root 3 on 2. Now that whole thing's got to be squared. So we put it in brackets. And we square them. And you might remember from your indices rules that we can square both the numbers in the fraction. So the first one becomes, well, square root of 1 is 1, square root of 2 is 4. And then the square root of root 3 on 2, we can square both numbers in the fraction. So we square root 3 and it cancels out to 3. To square 2 becomes 4. Now we're just left with fractions. All we have to do is take away a quarter from both sides, and we're left with x squared equals 2 on 4. Now this can be simplified to x squared equals what? A half. And now we just take the square root of both sides. So x equals the square root of 1/2 meters. It wasn't that difficult. Now we have a side represented in x and the other side represented as 2x. That's okay. So let's work through it. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. And we replace our numbers. So we have in brackets 2x squared because we need to square the entire thing. And on the right hand side of the equation we have in brackets 1 on root 3 squared. So we need to square both the top and the bottom of the fraction. So we do that. So starting from the left, we can square. So we say 2 squared equals 4, x squared plus x squared equals 1 squared is 1, Root 3 squared is 3, and therefore we get rid of the root. Now we can collect like terms, so we have a 4x squared and an x squared, we can add them together. So we do that, we get 5x squared. Now what are you doing? What are we doing, you might ask? We still need to get rid of that 5, so we're going to divide both sides by 5. And that gets rid of the 5 on the left, so we're dividing 1 on 3 by 5, and 5 can be written as 5 on 1, same as any whole number. Now remember from when we've done fractions, we flip it in times. So this time we got x squared equals 1 on 3 times 1 on 5. Now we can simply multiply the numerator and the denominator. We get x squared equals 1 on 15. Now we square root both sides, and we get x equals root 1 on 15. Simple as that. Thank you.